here or in town in 2 weeks, but we can certainly communicate with Colleen.
Or representative, because I would love in 2 weeks, come in and say, hey, it was all fixed, this is what it was, and if not, tell us what you did, and well, thanks.
What I can commit to is that we can partner up and we'll start working and we'll coordinate, you know, our efforts with your efforts, and we can feed that back to Colleen, and if we're available, we'll come back.
Cool.
Yeah. If that's acceptable.
We are your customer, and
Yeah.
how
Sure.
representatives come in and say, this is what it was, and what we found.
Sure. Give you an update.
Just curiosity, surface water versus deep well water, are they treated differently? And Franny, how deep are our wells?
600 feet comes to, is that the English down? We got
3 to 5.
3 to 500 feet.
So you treat, is deep well water different than surface water?
Yes.
Does it flow differently, or is water water?
Well, water is water. It's the constituents in the water that makes up the difference. The difference, you know, the water 101, in well water, you would encounter more iron and manganese. In surface water, you'll encounter more organics. And the reason organics, you know, leaves things of that nature, organic matter, we have sedimentation and filtration processes to remove that organic matter. But the difference between surface water and well water is surface water, if you're not utilizing the right disinfectant, you can exceed what they refer to as disinfection byproducts. And that was our driving force from at a federal level to switch to the chloramines, which is a well-established practice. So there is a difference, and well water is typically high in iron, which could be, your system could be loaded up with
Can
years
you
and
pump
years
well
of iron.
water and surface water at the same time? In other words, at the end of the summer, can we just gradually go back, or does it have to be shut down the wells and open up?
Well, there needs to be a plan. And what I mean by that is, one, where are those wells within town? How do they discharge into your distribution network? How does the water flow when you're on the well system? And then how does it flow when you're taking water from us? Meaning, will you be reversing flows if you're taking water through the point of interconnection compared to the wells running and pumping in this way? So it's a system by system plan.
Doesn't all our water go to the water tower or over there on 13th Avenue, Ready?
It all goes into the plant.
Yeah.
And they have a direct line into our water plant, then it goes right out into the system because it's already treated. When we do our wells, it goes into the ground storage tank. It's treated, goes into the ground storage tank, then goes into the system.
So all the water goes to the same spot on like 12th, 13th Avenue, and then goes to the customers from there?
Yes.
Did you have a well over by the boardwalk? I remember years ago you had one.
It's been sealed.
Sealed, okay. It's been a while.
With some salt.
But it really comes down to the operator of this system would have that plan to convert back.
So you'll be working with our DPW soon to assess our problem. Is that our guarantee tonight?
And is there any hard deadline we can give our residents as to when they actually have an answer as to what the specific problem is and how it's going to get addressed?
I really can't.
We've been targeting the Rhode Island point section, especially looking at valves, and we did a different kind of flushing from a recommendation I got from New Jersey American, unidirectional flushing, where we'll close a valve at one end of the street and the water will run one way, then we reverse that and the water comes back the other way. So we're kind of cleaning from both sides. We did that just the other day, and Mike and myself and Joe have been visiting residents up there every other day or so, and we see if that makes a difference. And we're going to start working on collecting data with the samples, checking on valves in the affected areas.
It's interesting because I live on Rhode Island Point, we're the closest street to 71. We've had no problem.
None.
It's kind of interesting. We're so close to the affected area. and yet-
Nothing on L Street.
We had a situation in Lake Como, I think, was it 16, where all the customers from one cross street towards the ocean or towards the water, riddled with complaints. We found a closed valve in the distribution system, which separated customers that didn't have complaints and, one house away, and then the whole run.
residents should see an improvement in the water after this coming weekend?
We're going online Saturday. It could take,
We're going online Saturday, and we will be flushing just to get everything out of the system and prepared for our water. So
Understand.
it's not instantaneous. It may take up to a week for the discoloration to improve.
And then we're gonna have Memorial Day weekend, which could also add to it.
we're going to have a big draw.
Right, okay. Any other questions for,
Thank you, thank you.
thank you, gentlemen.
Can we just show you some pictures?
Any questions?
Oh, we're in a public portion later.
Okay, after other business? Yeah. Okay. It's not the one, you want to catch someone on the way out?
I want everyone to hear it.
Well, if you have a specific question, I'm sure they'll address
If
it.
I could please, I'll keep it really quick.
But you want to address some
Then
specific
I'll
questions.
talk.
Yeah, public portions later. But if you could take it outside.
The only problem is iron. I have my own well on my own property. Health-wise, it's a little worse. Don't worry about it. It's when you have to wash your shirts, so then you have
Next, any petitions for the mayor council?
fourth. I don't know.
Next are reports, the mayor council. Councilman McGovern?
Can I go first?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First, with Memorial Day weekend coming up, we know, of course, how much changes so much, and we get very busy. And I just want to recognize how good a job our police department does going from a small town from September until May. And now for the next couple of months, we really build up to a lot of police personnel. This summer, we're really prepared. We have a good class of special ones and special twos helping us on the boardwalk and throughout town. So, and I know Tommy Palmisano, I guess he stepped out. I've been working hard to get everybody in line for Memorial Day weekend, which is coming up. I wasn't here at the last meeting, but I did want to make a report on two projects that I was involved in. The first was the replanting of Silver Lake Island. I was anticipating the usual number of 5 or 6 volunteers, and much to my surprise, we had at least 50 people down there helping to replant the island. And I did notice that a lot of people talk about rebuilding the boardwalk. And the people that came to the replanting of the island said, we're replanting our island. You know, so I think there's a significant difference there, how the residents see that lake area in Belmar. I want to point out that there were 4 or 5 DPW workers, Sal Cercelli, George Cabitas, Kevin Gant, Mark Millay, and Franny Hines, that donated their time that day. They weren't on the clock. And what I do notice is those people that I just mentioned grew up in Belmar. You know, it's the personal touch. Our guys didn't necessarily want the paycheck, they wanted that island to look real good. We had the Boy Scouts there, we had the Girl Scouts there. We had to bring over to the island soil which had been washed away. And wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow, we brought over 10 yards of soil to the island to replant about 50 plants, one big tree, several shrubs, and some grasses and flowers. The bridge was the work of Franny Hines and Richie Merrill. They designed a bridge that we were able to walk across, which made it so much easier for the whole day. So I'd like to thank everybody. Of all the years I've been volunteering here in Belmar, that was the most excited I ever been. I mean, to see such a large group of people come out and help out. That's terrific. The next following week was Arbor Day. And Arbor Day this year was very special because during the storm, one of the trees at Memorial Field blew down. Now, for those who aren't aware of it, there were 14 soldiers from Belmar that were killed in World War II. And along that fence, there were planted 14 trees. One fell during the storm. And so for Arbor Day this year, we replanted the tree with the help of 60 fourth grade students from Belmar Elementary. They all got a shovel, we all put some dirt on it. We had Jade Glab sing the national anthem. We had taps played, we had members from the VFW there. Bill Tarbutton from World War II was there. It was just a terrific, terrific day for the Borough of Belmar. So I really want to thank everybody for helping out on the Silver Lake Island and for the Arbor Day project. That's my plan there.
Thank you, Councilman Hill.
You're
Council
welcome.
President, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Belmar Safety Day on May 5th went extremely well, thanks to the efforts of our police staff headed by Sergeant Tina Scott and assisted by Captain Pat McGovern. Also, thanks to all the other police officers and specials for participating. Many agencies and organizations were on hand as well. Please remember the ADA Caregivers Workshop to be held tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. at the Belmar Library. Representatives from the Family Resource Network and Assisted Transition will be the presenters. The program should be worthwhile and informative for those who care for others. The Monmouth County Health Department is presenting a program entitled Healthy Home on Wednesday, May 22nd at 1 p.m. at the Belmar Library. The program will focus on how to keep your home environment healthy and safe. I think also this should be a good program for homeowners, especially after Sandy. The Monmouth County Health Department has also scheduled a free clinic for May 30th at 3 p.m. at Belmar School Health Office for children up to 18 years of age. Children must be accompanied by an adult, and the family must have no health insurance. For more information, or if someone is interested, call school nurse Mary Pat Wallace at 732-681-5411, extension 11 by May 24th. Also, Monmouth County's Office of Human Services contacted the borough regarding updates to the beach accessibility guide provided by the county. This is accessibility for handicap. I forwarded the agency that our beachfronts will have our newly erected boardwalk with 20 ADA accessible boardwalk and beach entrances. We will have our Moby mats in place at their usual beach locations. Thanks to our Recreation Director, Ray Claudio, Belmar will be participating in the Boardwalk Challenge, sponsored by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield. The program will run from May 27th to September 2nd. Register at First and Ocean Avenues from 9 a.m. to 12 noon on May 27th. Blue Cross Blue Shield van will be on hand that day to give more information about the event, and I think they're also going to do blood pressure readings. Many shore towns are competing in this challenge. Each person who registers will receive a pedometer to be read at certain intervals throughout the summer by Ray Claudio. Which town records the most total mileage receives a free barbecue hosted by Blue Cross Blue Shield? We need many people to sign on so that Belmar can shine once again, as we do with everything. I've been attending the executive board meetings of MOVE, Manasquan Organization of Volunteer Efforts. The organization includes all of the towns that send to Manasquan High School. The committee is committed to assisting individuals who are suffering long-term effects of Hurricane Sandy. MOVE held a walk-in here at the St. Rose Annex beginning May 1st and assisted many of our residents in beginning the process of moving forward with getting back to their homes. And also are attending to other problems the storm caused. I want to also, finally, with the request of our ADA committee and with the assistance of Chief Palmisano, there is an ordinance on the agenda for this evening which establishes a handicap parking space on the Main Street side of our borough offices. Thanks to all, including Sergeant Mark Walsifer, for making this possible. Final thank you to all of our kind residents who have donated canned food items for our Mayor's Wellness Campaign food drive, council, churches, food pantries here in Belmar receiving the donations. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Dean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Memorial Day services, Monday, May 27th. I believe at 9 o'clock, we usually have a fireman's memorial, and then at 9:30 at the Monument Row, I think the fireman memorial is at the same spot, but at 9:30, Monument Row, Main Street, between 12th and 13th Ave, we have a short Memorial Day service. It's very nice. And then at 10 o'clock, we all walk over to the Doughboy statue between 7th and 8th Avenue by the railroad tracks. We have another short memorial, and then usually the Arts Council has food and beverages. I encourage everybody to come over and to support the armed services on Memorial Day. The community policing program, we've been having meetings. On the Belmar website, if you go to the calendar on the main Belmar webpage, it lists when your street is having their meetings and where they are. Are they all here, Chief? Are they in this room, the meetings, or does it say where they are?
They're in various places, but usually they come.
Okay. So if anybody has questions about what day their street is meeting with their particular officer, please contact me, contact the chief, reach out to anybody. April, I'm sure, can help you out, and we will make sure that you get into the right place. Questions on FEMA? I'm very concerned. How's our checks? Are any more FEMA checks coming in? Anything?
How many fell last
So that was $2 million, correct? A couple months ago. Did we get more worksheets turned in? I know we were waiting on some paperwork.
Worksheets for rebuild are not submitted until project completion.
So we're still,
Yeah.
okay. When I picked up my mail on Monday, the two individuals that were in a senior center, who were they and what were they doing?
Those are individuals from the Division of Homeland Security, and they are performing a review of our debris tickets, invoices, and the debris program.
A review of our debris removal. So they're just going over everything, make sure it's all legit. Are they the ones that are going to give us the money, or?
No, it's a quality control measure that FEMA, actually the Department of Homeland Security, takes. It has actually nothing to do with the finalization and ultimate payment of the debris.
So what are they checking for? You know, I don't know. I didn't. All the paperwork was out
It's a final review.
of
The debris program.
the removal, the FEMA removal.
Debris removal. Yeah.
And what, okay, any idea when we're gonna get checks in? I mean, we got this debt hanging over our head, I just wanna get, some money rolling. Any idea when checks gonna come in?
I unfortunately can't tell when FEMA is going to issue monies. What I can tell you is that we've provided every bit of information requested of us and have all the appropriate documentation that FEMA asks for.
And did every town get those two individuals, or did just Belmar, or
No, there's many towns that are in the review.
the review?
Yeah.
Okay, Mayor, that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Nichols?
Just want to report on a couple things. The elementary school, the NJS testing has been administered to the students in grades 3rd grade through 8th grade and will conclude this Friday. I was very, very happy and pleased this past weekend. There was a Yale Stanford Alumni Tutoring and Mentoring Day that was held at the school on Saturday. There were over 35 people from Yale, Stanford, Harvard, and Kean University that were on hand to work one-on-one with our students in the kindergarten through the 3rd grade to provide key literacy and math skills to enrich current classroom practices. It was extremely well attended. The atmosphere was great, very positive. The goal is to provide a sustainable service-based tutoring program once per month for the students in need of extra support. And again, this was completely funded by the different universities. 25 students from the Belmar Elementary School attended Monday night's Blue Claws game with their parents. Students reported that everyone had a terrific time, and our leader threw out the first pitch. He reached the plate. That was a good thing. Belmar Recreation, soccer registrations are this Thursday next Thursday, from 6 till 7:30 in the gym. The cost of the program is $35. Arts and crafts will be held, the registration on Wednesday, June 5th from 6 to 7:30 in the gym. Cost is $40. And the summer toddler time will be Thursday, June 13th from 9 to 11 in the gym. The program is free for the children of the town and non-residents of $20. DPW, as you know, has been extremely hard at work with regards to the marina. They finished 19 wood docks they replaced, placed 80 yards of topsoil in McCleary Park, gazebos fixed and will be ready for the beach opening. They repaired some beach signs and street signs. They flushed the hydrants and took some water samples to test the water. There's plantings, the flowers in the parks and the different areas. These, as well as their normal day-to-day work orders, again, they're always incredibly on top of everything. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. And that is it for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Couple updates for our rebuilding of the boardwalk. The playgrounds that you see out there, there's 4 new playgrounds. Belmar always had not always, but the last couple of years, had the most free playgrounds on the beach of any town at the Jersey Shore from Cape May up to Sandy Hook. We want to maintain that again this summer. So all 4 playgrounds, including 2 with pirate chips, will be completed by this Friday. There is no age limit on this to go on. Curbing and sidewalks that you see up there is being performed by A&A Concrete. They should be done by Friday, May 24th, later than we wanted, but we did run into some issues with weather. The railings that are being built, they should be up and done by May 22nd. Also the lighting. The light poles have been delivered, and you're going to start seeing them going up, and they should be done also by the 24th. Yeah, sure.
What is the area by the steps that is cut out with the curb? What is that for?
That's actually the curbing and sidewalk work that A&A is doing. And so it is essentially creating beach entrances leading up to the ramp. They're ADA compliant. They are highway compliant in terms of how far away from an entrance a parking space can be. And it is, again, that sidewalk that's being poured. And DPW did a fabulous job today doing our first landscaped entrance, which consists of some of the gap filled with river rock. There will be mulching and planting. So it'll really will look.
Will the curb continue all the way down like the boardwalk?
No,
just the entrance area.
exactly.
Okay, thank you.
And the idea, the design is to make the entrance areas safer. So it should feel safer getting up on and off the boardwalk as well. Our ribbon cutting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 22nd at 11 a.m. Both schools in town, Belmar Elementary and St. Rose, are going to be joining us for a kids kickoff. That's why we honored those 3 7th grade students today. They're all going to have the same t-shirts on. In addition, Governor Christie will be joining us. If you remember, he was here the day after the storm on October 30th. He came here sometime in December for a town hall meeting, and he also joined us January 9th to install the first pylon. So he'll be back again, and that's Wednesday, May 22nd, 11 a.m. So mark in your calendar, but we'll also do a code red to everyone in town. I know it's in the middle of the day on Wednesday, but if it takes some time to join us, it'll be, should be a great event. That's it for the boardwalk. Next, there's two issues I just wanted to talk about quickly, or not so quickly, from last week's newspapers. One is a ethics complaint. This is the second ethics complaint that Councilman Bean has filed against me, I think in the last 8 months or so. In the complaint, basically alleges that I and my wife profited off of Hurricane Sandy. It's completely nonsense, baseless allegations. In it, one of the things he references is that my wife was hired by Ashford. Ashford was chosen by the governor of the state of New Jersey for municipalities, about 42 of us total were on board with them. The person who chose them, based on the governor's recommendation at the time, was our BA, Bill Young. My wife never worked for Ashford, never had a contract with Ashford, never received a dollar from Ashford. But because she had a business connection with one of their subcontractors, the subcontractor who did no work in Belmar, I talked to our attorney and said, what should I do to ensure that there's not even the potential of a conflict of interest? And he said, simply recuse yourself from any votes and any payments. Since that day, on the attorney's advice, I've always recused myself. This is well known, it's been talked about publicly, I think, several times. So to say that she was hired by Ashbridge is simply not true. Also, just for, I guess, some additional hyperbole, Mr. Bean alleges that, and I'll read it directly, in the instance of Belmar, the local government officer, Matthew Doherty, or Mayor Doherty, and his wife, Maggie Moran, undeniably hold influence over local government officers. Because of their influence, it goes on to say, the idea that anyone's spouse holds any influence over anyone on the council or any employee in the borough of Belmar is complete nonsense. It couldn't be further from the truth. It's simply grasping at straws. So, again, this is Councilman Bean's second baseless ethics complaint that he filed, and I just wanted to make sure that that was very clear, that it's completely untrue. Second thing, and you know, ethics complaints like this are just pure politics, and they happen. You know, you can't let it stop you from doing what you know is right and rebuilding your community and coming back after a storm like Sandy. You keep making decisions and keep moving the ball down the road. You can't let this stuff stop you. One thing, though, that I did read last week that was very troubling was Councilman Bean's accusations about our police department. And I'll read it from the Asbury Park Press. Councilman, this is regarding a wedding ring, and I'll do the story on it. So we have a police officer who was out with all the other police officers on Sandy, the night of Sandy, October 29th. And during his service on October 29th, his wedding ring came off while he was out in water up to the waist, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Everyone who was smart evacuated. People who weren't smart like me stuck around, and I saw this firsthand, how heroic these people were. So this police officer loses his wedding ring. After that, he puts in to get reimbursed from the town for that wedding ring. That gets approved. Once it comes to our attention, which is in March, we compare it to the contract the police department has, and it says that it's not covered. So the business administrator, Colin Connolly, informed the police officer, he had to refund the town. The police officer said, okay, and he refunded the town. And this was towards the end of March. But lo and behold, all the way in May, 6 weeks after this mistake was addressed, and the officer repaid the borough, there was an article in the Asbury Park Press, and I'll just read from it again. With so many eyes required to review and approve how Belmar spends public money, Councilman James Bean said he believed what occurred was not a simple mistake. In other words, someone intentionally committed fraud. Now, this, just like the other ethics complaint, is complete nonsense and baseless. If it was true, then he would file a complaint with the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office, and they would investigate. The problem is, you can't file false complaints with the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office. You can, however, make false statements to the press. And that's exactly what this is. Now, the number one job of government, municipal, state, federal, is the public safety of the residents that they serve. Pushing stories like this in the press, and I don't fault the press, and I've talked to several reporters on this, because they would call me and say, hey, listen, you know, what's going on with this whole wedding thing that I'm getting emails and phone calls about? And I explain it to them, and I say, like, it's just political nonsense. And most of them say, okay, no big deal, don't write it. One of the reporters I was talking with said, I said, look, it's a non-story, because if he didn't repay it, let's say he said, you know what, I feel I'm entitled to it, and the town said you don't, you're not entitled to it, then I think that actually it'd be a story. And I think you can make an argument either way. You know, they lost it in the line of duty, or they, or you know, and they should be reimbursed for it, or they're not eligible for that because their contract doesn't say. But that to me would make sense for a story. So I said to the reporter, how is this a story if it's already recognized as a mistake and it's being refunded? So why would we, you know, where's the story? And he told me, look, Matt, this is getting pushed by a member of the council, a sitting member of the council. How do I not write it? And the reporter's got a point. If you have a councilman going after your police department, a press is pretty much obligated to write it, because that in itself is a story. But as we go into the summer months, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a busy summer. We're going to have more special twos on than ever before. We rely on our police department to protect us, our property, and to protect our persons. Anything that undermines the morale, that is baseless and false like this, is absolutely wrong. You want to make accusations about me, or other members of the governing body, that's understandable because it's politics. We shouldn't inject politics into our police department. What they do I just want to end by saying to our chief and all the members of the police department, as the mayor, I can tell you, I have our police department's back. That's all for me. I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of minutes.
Yes. I move that the minutes of the May 1st, 2013 regular meeting be approved as recorded and a copy be posted on the borough website.
Second?
Councilwoman Beckman?
Yes.
Councilman Belmar?
I abstain.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Dugan?
Yes.
Mayor Garrett?
Yes. Next is public session on the resolution calendar. This is on the resolution calendar and consent agenda. This does not include, however, the special improvement district hearing. That'll be after the resolution calendar is addressed. So I'm sure there's some people who want to make some comments on it. So any public comments on the resolution calendar? Please just raise your hand and wait to be called. Come up front. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the resolution calendar. I'll make a motion to.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Next is resolution authorizing payment of bills list. I don't need to repeat myself, that's correct. I will offer and move for its adoption.
Right?
Councilwoman Beckman?
Yes.
Councilman Belmar?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Couple questions, Mayor. For whoever can answer them. Board of Fire Commissioners, $1,000 rent Route 71 firehouse. What is that for?
They are hosting our union fire company, so we can get them back into their building,
We're hosting the fire trucks.
our company.
The trucks?
Trucks
Or just the
and-
people?
And people.
Trucks and people? Okay. 4 directions, emergency generator, I'm guessing it's for one of the water pumps. Do we know?
A dollar amount, I'm sorry.
It was 31,000. Replacement emergency generator, including
Yes.
the water.
That was for one of the water wells.
Does each water well have its own emergency pump generator? Or is there one at the main?
No, not generator. But
Pumps.
we maintain one, certainly to
Is
be
this,
there for backup if power goes out.
this is the one that's sitting down at DPW, correct?
I don't know what's on, we have one at DPW that's being replaced.
Improved water plant,
Yes.
that's what it is. All right. Let's see. Centerfield and Tropia, 24,000 for beachfront improvement admin. Are they developing, doing the designs of the buildings?
They are working on the initial designs of the beachfront buildings to get us ready for bid.
Are we gonna go over that before we go out to bid?
Over the 24,000?
No, I'm sorry, over what they're planning. Like, can we see a design before we send out?
Oh, yeah, no, I absolutely will.
And guest graphics, $6,000 beach balls. What's that for?
It's paid by tourism, getting ready for Memorial Day.
So what do we need $6,000 in beach balls for?
It's a promotional item to welcome people back to the beach.
Bathing, beach, EO, general supply. That's a lot. How many beach balls is that?
A lot of beach balls.
Yeah.
Mary?
5,000.
5,000 beach balls.
What do they say on them? They're just,
They say Belmar's back, Memorial Day 2013.
okay. I think that's a heck of a lot of money for a bunch of frivolous beach balls. I don't go to work every day, so I'd be buying $6,000 in beach balls. Because of the beach balls, I'm gonna go, no, I don't think I should be buying them.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Darrell?
Yes.
Paid for by me.
Actually, it's paid for by Tourism Commission, it's not tax dollars.
Yes, please make sure everyone knows that's paid by tourism, not
Yeah.
tax dollars.
Just so we're all clear, the beach balls are paid by tourism. They get their money from the businesses in town and also a significant amount from the seafood festival that they host and operate every year. Next resolution, I must abstain.
I have a motion to approve the resolution permitting a special fair permit for the Burlington Subdivision Alley.
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Councilman Duncan?
Yes.
Councilman Gollman?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Next is the consent agenda. I'll offer a move for its adoption.
Second.
Councilman Duncan?
Yes.
Councilman Gollman?
I just have a question on the one resolution for the property at auction. That's for the lights that came down, right?
Yes, those are for the damaged light poles.
Okay, so I just have a side question. I've been asked, whatever happened with the benches along the boardwalk that were, let's say, dedicated to different people? They're not going back on the boardwalk, I'm sure. What are we doing with them?
Many of them were damaged, if not completely, then really beyond use. The benches that were not damaged, we have in the DPW yard.
Right.
Correct.
But they're not going out to auction, or are they?
No, those are not out to auction. We have some ideas for what to do with those benches repurposed, let's say, off of the boardwalk.
Maybe we're late because,
Great idea.
Mike?
Brian, also, if I may, any of the benches that were destroyed or damaged, if the board was there that had the plaque on it, we did remove those, and we do have those plaques in case it is the council's intention to put them on for new benches or whatever. We did keep those, and if that is not going to be the intention, then we will contact the families and see if they wish them to do something else with them. But I'm not saying I have them all, please understand that.
Right.
But whatever we could salvage, we understood the families, it's important to them. We did salvage them, and we do have them.
But the benches won't be part of the auction, is
No.
that? So even if they wanted to buy one of the benches?
Not at this sale.
Okay, yes?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Darrell?
Yes. Next is going to be the budget hearing for the 2013 Special Improvement District. see how we handle this. Let's have folks from the Special Improvement District come up, address the council, and then what we'll do is just raise your hand if you'd like to make any comments, in favor of, opposed, or neutral, before the council votes. And just so everyone understands, the council only has an up and down vote. So all we can do is vote to approve or not approve their budget. We can't approve or not approve how they spend their money. We can obviously take that into consideration. If we don't like the way they're spending it, we can vote the whole thing down. But we don't have the ability to change how they spend any of the money that they're looking to invest in budget. So, just state your name and business, I guess, for the record.
Kevin Jacobs, Belmar Mall. Good evening, my name is Kevin Jacobs. I am the Vice President of the Belmar Business Partnership, as well as the Superintendent of Properties for GP Limited Operating Company, representing the owners of the Belmar Mall. I want to stress, as I speak in favor of the Belmar Special Improvement District budget, that I speak as an individual who is heavily invested in the SID. The company that I represent pays one of the highest assessments for the Special Improvement District in Belmar. And as the Vice President of the Belmar Business Partnership, which manages our Special Improvement District, I've donated hundreds of hours to functioning the partnership on behalf of the owners of the property that I represent, as well as the businesses in Belmar and the residents. It would not surprise me if some people would speak against the Special Improvement District and the Belmar Business Partnership. I can almost guarantee that there will be people who have made no effort to take advantage of many of the programs that we have offered, whether it be the VIP program, tie-ins to cruise night, holiday co-op advertising, retail improvement consulting, or other programs. They decided at the outset that they were against the SID, and they made sure that they had no benefit to them by avoiding the benefits. I look at what we have done and we've accomplished in 2 years of our existence, and I am impressed on our return of investment. There is no earth-shaking accomplishments. I wouldn't expect there to be, because we have such a small budget, which has been diminished every year since the organization was created. But there are consistent, sustainable, incremental improvements in many areas that will continue to be built upon to overcome the years of decline that have been prevalent in the Belmar Business District. It is that consistent, sustainable, incremental improvements over a broad scope of issues affecting Belmar that will result in long-term success. It takes professional, strategic, insightful management to deal with the many challenges facing independent businesses and the small business districts in which they are located, and that's what the Belmar Business Partnership brings to Belmar. I urge you to continue your support for the SID. Thank you.
Norman Einhorn, 613 10th Avenue, Belmar. I'm an optometrist. I would like to address the board in relation to the BBP, or the Belmar Business Partnership. I want to start out by basically just reminding the world that I have the pleasure of having been brought up in Belmar. I went to grammar school in Belmar, and this started about 1955, if I'm not mistaken, when, as you talked so beautifully about how the school's doing now, the school then was an excellent school. And we want that to continue, and we want them to improve, obviously. My dad came to Belmar in 1950 at the end of the year. 1951, we moved into Belmar. I had the luxury and the pleasure of being here when Belmar really did have a business district, when it was one of the main districts in the county. We had stores, we had men's clothing stores, we had women's clothing stores, we had every type of store that you would need. Some people are nodding their head remembering that. Everything that the town needed to function as a town. We didn't need anything outside of the town. Unfortunately, though, at some point or another, malls started to exist. And a lot of our businesses walked. They left. They ran out of business. They didn't have the money to maintain their businesses. They couldn't compete with the malls. Unfortunately, we also, my family, had to leave Belmar as well. But we left for another reason. We left because in the late 1950s, there was a thing called urban renewal. I don't know if a lot of you know that 9th Avenue used to be the main street into town. not 10th, not 8th. Fire department was there, police department was there. The first aid was on 9th Avenue. For whatever reason, it was determined that a mall was going to be created, so that they took houses and they took businesses off of 9th Avenue. We were one of them, and we had to move. Otherwise, we would have been condemned. So I left with my family. My dad maintained the practice. So from 1950 until I came into the practice in 1983, my family has had a presence in this town. I've always loved Belmar. I've loved the business district. I came back to it. It's clear, unfortunately, that when you're a business in Belmar, that you really only have 3 sides to be able to get business. The 4th side is the east. So other than 5 blocks, fish don't buy from businesses. And I think most people that have business in town recognize you come to Belmar, or you come to any C-town, and there's going to be a certain amount of people that you're just not going to be able to get. The numbers are just not there as you would be if you were about 10 miles inland. Well, I can say that, again, loving Belmar, I came to practice with my dad, something that I will always cherish. But I also believe in Belmar. And so when my daughter became an optometrist, she came into practice. And I think that really says something about why I got on the BBP. Because I felt that Belmar's business district was not where it should be. There were things that had to be done. And we were given a charter. We were given the opportunity to try to do something with the business district. And unfortunately, it's difficult. We had a lot of obstacles at the beginning. I won't get into all of them, but I will tell you that it was difficult. We had a budget, just as Kevin said, every year the budget went down a little bit. Yet, we were looking to expand what we were doing. And finally, what ended up happening was we had a hurricane. And the hurricane decimated a good part of the town. But that doesn't change the idea that I looked at Belmar and said, we need to maintain a strong business district. We need to be able to bring people into Belmar, not just to come here for the summers, not just to come here for the beaches, not just to come here because we have great restaurants, but to come here and maybe want to start a business or possibly want to move into town. And that's what the BBP is to me. So it's my feeling that when we have only 2 out of the 3 years that we've been given the opportunity to function in, we need the 3rd year. And I would appreciate that opportunity to continue. Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak on the SID? Speak on the SID?
Good evening. I'm Michael Redpath, the past Executive Director of the Belmar Business Partnership, which manages the Belmar Special Improvement District. I still serve as an advisor to the Board of Trustees of the BBP. And I've come to offer some observations from the perspective of someone who works in many communities, has helped the Belmar Business Partnership to grow into an effective organization. Plus, I'm president of Downtown New Jersey, the nonprofit organization of New Jersey downtowns and other managed commercial districts. But before I get too far into my remarks, I have to note that as I came in the doors and saw the new logo in use on the doors, I thought, we did that. The Belmar Business Partnership did that out of recognition of an unmet marketing need, and it's emblematic of what the organization has been doing, filling the various gaps that in being filled would help our business community to move forward. I want to point to the accomplishments of the BBP as outlined in the 2012 annual report of the BBP. This is a lot for the kind of money that has been invested and the short time the organization has been in existence. And it's the kind of things that need to be done for any business and community to survive in this competitive marketplace. They weren't being done in Belmar with any planning and consistency before the BBP was created, and they cannot be expected to continue if the BBP doesn't. The internet, Regional shopping malls, big box centers, and outlet shopping centers have been sucking the life out of small communities and their business districts, and it's just going to get worse. To compete, it's necessary to fight the competition in the areas where they are most vulnerable: customer service, overall customer experience, and providing a unique sense of place. At the core of the strength of the big outside competition is professional management, working a strategic plan, and putting a lot of money behind their efforts. I would expect that the budget just for landscape maintenance at the nearby Jersey Shore premium outlets is many times the total budget for the operation of the Belmar Special Improvement District, and probably for that and the Tourism Commission combined. That's the nature of what we're competing with. Belmar's business districts have been in decline for many years as the growing outside competition has picked away more and more. This decline has been throughout New Jersey and throughout the world. And that's why special improvement districts and business improvement districts have been growing throughout the world. I'm sure that we'll hear some people testify against the SID this evening on what amounts to philosophical grounds. At the same time, they will not offer an alternative that has a proven track record that special improvement districts and business improvement districts do. They'll just say, I don't like it, without offering a proven alternative. They will choose to embrace failure rather than investing in the shared success of the community. Special improvement districts have been proven throughout the world to be community